let's get started and let me show you this is what we're gonna cover. So the prerequisites that we require is we should have Terraform installed on a system, and we should have a GCP account, uh, and also we should have one service account which will deploy all this stuff. It's the same that I mentioned in the last video. So let's go ahead and check the structure of the Terraform files in a folder. So this is the folder, right? This one, and in this, if I go, we have few files. So there is network file, variables, provider, network tier. So we will focus on the files which are of which will actually be deploying the which will have the settings of the components or the resources to be deployed. So let's start with the network.tf. This contains actually the VPC that would be deployed. So this you can find over to the Terraform documentation, and how we are specifying is we are typing in resource, then this is the thing for the Google Compute Network. Here we are specifying the name, just a random name, which will be used into the Terraform files, and this will be picking up the variables uh, and will append it with VPC at the end, which will be the name of the resource which will be provisioned into the Google Cloud Platform. So auto creation of subnetworks, we are taking it as false. So it's the same like how you do it onto the portal. For example, you go into the VPC here, click on it, and if you go into create VPC, so you just type name something something, and then you do the custom or automatic. It will create the automatic subnet. So we are taking custom, so automatic is mentioned here false. If it would have been true, we would not have been specifying these things in this particular range. Okay, anyway, so this is just to show you like how things work: dynamic routing, global, and regional, or global, whatever you select. So we are selecting global. Then this will create the public subnet. It will also append the same name, IP, CIDR range. It will be picking up from a variable. So this variable, there are variable files, uh, network variables. If you can see this public subnet CIDR one, it is picking up from here. Public subnet, it's using public subnet one, and where it is specified, the value is specified in here in this file. So it is this is a file which contains all the settings, and other variable files are picking up the value using these particular variables, okay, from the actual file which is used for deploying the resources. Similarly, it will be using the CIDR range, and network, it will use this network, and the region, it will be using the GCP region that we have specified. The region which we have specified is US East one, and you can find in here, and we have used this zone. The auth file, that is the service account file that we downloaded, it's placed inside the folder and outside as well. So dot means you go one folder up for the JSON for checking it up. So it will deploy network. So this file is related to the rules. It will create 4 firewall rules. If you see in here, there are 4 entries, rules which will be created. So same thing, it will append it with this particular string. It will give a name of this firewall rule for the compute engines. It will use the same VPC name. So it will pick it the VPC name from the uh, things which have been defined into the network variables. We are allowing the port. So all this particular code, right, or a block code, you will find this sample into Terraform documentation page, and then you can make changes accordingly and club it. So we are making four rules: HTTP, HTTPS, allow, then SSH, and allow RDP. So here we will be, uh, these are the deployment files: network firewall. These components will be deployed, and this one is the vms.tf, which where the VM will be deployed. So same thing, you will find it, which zone it's gonna using, what will be the host name and the thing, and which tags it will use. These have been defined. The boot disk image, which image will be used for deploying. So Ubuntu 18.04 LTS we will be using. Uh, so and after that, it will also run a metadata startup script that you can place it here, or even whenever you are deploying through the portal, you specify it into the text box what things you gonna be deploying. And then network interface, we will hook it up to the network which we create, which will be created in these two sections. uh, so this one, authentication file, so here we are specifying the name of the project, because these settings will be used while configuring the Apache, all these things. So these have been also defined in here. So this is the project ID, which where in which Google project it will be deployed. These are just random values that I have placed just for testing purpose. So let's go ahead and do it. So I will go into the folder, and this is the folder. So let's Terraform format. So it says that these are the files for which the formatting is done. Yes, so these may not have been formatted earlier, so it has formatted. Now let's go ahead and done Terraform init initialize. So it has done the same, and Terraform then validate also to validate the code if something is there. So it says that there are no irregularities. There are few warnings that you could see in here, that it's from the older format. Probably this can be changed, but it will deploy it. So let's go ahead and run Terraform plan. So it's basically says that how many resources this gonna be deploying. 9 resources which will be deployed. It says so. If we go in here, like we can start with what it's gonna be deploying. So if you see in here, it will say it will create firewall rule HTTP, HTTPS, 4 firewall rules, internal, allow, RDP, SSH 5 rules. Then it will be deploying the VM instance. It will bind it to the network, and all network names will come after the deployment. And also this it will be using network, it will be using which it will, then it will also be mentioning like network VPC, public subnet, and a random instance ID will be generated. And also these are the components that is going to be deploying. So let's go ahead and just run Terraform apply. I will put yes, and after that I will pause the video and I will come back once it starts create. It has completed the creation. So we are just back. So it deployed this all the components, the resources in a minute. So it has given you the output, what is the external IP of the VM and all. So it has created this thing. So let's go onto the portal and see like what it has done. So I will go on to the compute engine instances. So if you see, this is the VM which has been created, and SSH is allowed in the same. So this is about the deployment. Even if we go to the VPC, uh, so if you go into the VPC network, so it will show you like other than this particular network, This is the network which it created, so it appended it. It also created a subnet in it which uses the same thing and appends the component which we have specified into the Terraform file, and it uses the same CIDR range that we specified. Then also if you check the firewall rules, so it has created all these rules starting with this test, atul, and all these 6 rules it has created. So, and it has also taken up the same virtual private network, the clean network which we specified VPC, and all the ports which we specified in these two have come from the this has come from the compute VM Terraform file, and rest have come from the other file, these 5 rules from the network firewall Terraform file. So this is about this video, and hope you have liked this